The Chosen Season 6 has been one of the most amazing sleuthing seasons we've gotten out of the entirety of this channel. It's been awesome. But there's a few moments that really stick out to me over the last year, so I wanted to put them all in this video for you, just in case you missed any of them. So there's some really epic sleuthing moments here. Leave your comments below of what you think you're expecting for Season 6, what you're really excited for, and let's get into this video. Now, here is where we get to the piece de resistance of the behind the scenes this week. Number one, the first clue you're going to get is the bottom right here. We get Jesus's crown of thorns. Now, what are we looking at here? What is this? I am relatively sure that this is the dash cam of a taxi cab. Okay. This is a random taxi cab in Italy, in Matera, that is dropping someone off on the set. And somehow this footage turned up online, okay? This is some random dash cam footage, but we're gonna check it out, okay? So we see the crown of thorns over there to the right. We see a bunch of extras lined up against the wall here. We can verify this is the same set that we saw previously because this is the same wall that we saw there with the same design and everything. It's the same thing that we saw before. And then now we see this moment right here. Wait for it. Did you catch it? Did you see it? And there's the crown of thorns right behind him as all of the costume and makeup people are following him through. I believe we've got, yeah, here's some of the makeup people. And then we also have, here's the car moving. You can kind of see the car moving now. And then here is Leila, I think her name is, and she's the main costumer person. But here is Jonathan in his full get up here. Obviously he's not acting at the moment, but you can see how he's dressed. Number one, we see obviously his eye is swollen shut here. This is makeup. This is prosthetics. It's not actually real, right? We see a lot of blood around his head for the crown of thorns, as well as his hands. And his whole body here. You also see the robe itself, which is the robe that they put on him to mock him, being the king of the Jews. Yeah, very interesting here. Very, very interesting. I won't put it on this too much. If you want to pause, you can watch it. I know some people are going to have issues kind of walking through that, but you see Jonathan here. At least he's in good spirits, right? As he's going through and having to do this day after day after day. It's got to be very, very difficult for sure. And then here is another angle of Jesus on the cross. Again, these are like you could see these random people that are on this roof over here. There's just like a bunch of people over here that are on the roof and people like in the city that can just like see this set, right? That are just there. And so, yeah, you can see Jesus again there on the cross as we zoom in on this one. We see the three crosses all together with the placards on top. And then Jonathan in the middle there as they're shooting only him right now. And you see a bunch of the women all gathered together. A lot of them in black, actually. A lot of the other people in black, not the women. We see these are probably mostly Pharisees, would be my guess, because they're not turning up like it's a funeral. So very first image right here from Adam Drake. Now, obviously, these images are small. At some points, I will bring up a bigger image and we'll be able to kind of deep dive into this. But you can see here on this image that there's a large group of people. This is at the ending of the filming of the group that was there for filming with The Chosen a few weeks ago. In fact, I was there in Utah as part of this group for a couple of the days. Now, this was basically a week and a half or so of having a lot of extras on set. They did a lot of different things here, but we're going to see something special within this crowd because I love big crowd shots, you know? As a super sleuth myself, I love being able to kind of zoom in and see what is going on in this crowd here. Now, I don't believe I was here for this scene here. I think this was later in the week. However, if we go and zoom into this image, we do get a little bit of a clue of what is going on here and a new kind of understanding of who is going to be part of these scenes as well, which is quite interesting. So right here in the center of this frame, there might be a character that you recognize, and it's actually a great picture of her unintentionally. It actually gives us a lot of hints. Now, she could have been hidden in a lot of these other images, but here I think it's pretty clear who we have. If you recognize her, put it in the comments below. Now, I will say this headdress here is very recognizable. It is very distinct because unlike a lot of the other characters that we get in The Chosen, this character in particular has a very particular headdress that is not a Jewish headdress, and it has very particular icons on it from her character back in season 1. And this would be Fatina. So you can see here, if we look back and forth, you can see the image that she has here of her scarf. This is, again, is from season 1 or maybe season 2. It's one of the two, but her headdress is the same throughout. And so we see the exact same headdress of Fatina back here in this image here. So you see that headdress? Same thing, right? And spoiler alert, we'll get there in a second. We get Fatina right there and right here. Now, if you notice on her headdress, it seems like she has small circles of orange on there. I think this is to point to, remember in season 1 when she talks about her ex-husband who smelled like oranges, and that was her like one true love. I think that's to actually point to that. I'm not 100% sure, but her headdress has been basically the same since season 1, and so we see her again here. Now, I do think her outfit overall has changed slightly. But we do see her obviously on set for The Chosen season 6, which is really interesting. Now, why would she be here? This is a huge question, okay? Not only is she in The Chosen season 6, but it really seems like she is in the temple area. This is really strange because she is a Samaritan woman, right? This is the woman at the well is a Samaritan woman. So what, like, why would she be here, right? It's very, very strange. In fact, if you, I don't know if I have this footage. If I have this footage, I will edit it in after the fact. I don't have it ready for the live stream. But Fatina, I talked to Vanessa, who plays Fatina, during ChosenCon 2024. And I talked to her and I said, hey, is there any way that we'll be able to see Fatina during Holy Week or, you know, into the Passover of the Jews later on in this series, right? Because I was kind of wondering, like, why is she here, right? Why is she at ChosenCon if she just had this small part that was in season 1 and season 2? I know that she's a popular character, that people want to see her, but is she going to have a future in this series? And she pretty much point blank said, no, I don't think Fatina's going to be there. So one of two things happened. Either one, she lied to me, which is possible, just trying to keep your secrets for the future of the season. Or two, she just didn't know yet, right? She hadn't gotten the call for season 6, which is possible, right? It was still probably 6 or 7 months until they started filming season 6, or they were getting ready to, right? So it's possible that she just didn't know. But she clearly is here during the last 24 hours of Jesus's life somehow, and she's even in the temple area, which is really, really interesting. I don't know, that has me asking a lot of questions, right? Like, who is she going to interact with? What's going to happen with her? Is she going to be attacked in Jerusalem? Because there's a lot of people that would not like her, and instantly they would have recognized who she is because she's not Jewish. She's a Samaritan. So she doesn't worship here at the temple. She's not here to worship here, or at least she shouldn't be, right? Because she's a Samaritan. They worship on, I think it's Mount Gilboa or something like that. So they worship elsewhere, right? So it's a weird thing to see her here, but anyway, let's continue on. Now, continuing on, we get a day 10 update. This is the first day back to filming, and this is in Utah. Like I said, this is a stand-in. This is not an actor that we know, but I am relatively sure, like probably 99 to 100% sure I know who this is supposed to be, and so we'll talk about that in a second. But we have a guy that's standing here, looks like he could be holding a staff in his right hand here, as he's kind of holding his hand out. Yeah, definitely a staff there. You see it in the bottom right section right here. He's holding a staff off to the side, so that gives us a pretty big hint as to who this is. We also see him wearing sneakers, which I think is so funny, watching all the stand-ins wear sneakers. They, of course, don't need to wear just sandals or, you know, have bare feet or whatever the actual actors are wearing at the time, because they're just stand-ins to show what the camera needs for lighting or for different angles or things like that. And so this is a stand-in that's being shot in order to see how the actual actor will look in its place here. All right, so you see a bunch of different people there, and let me back up just a little bit so you can see. You see a bunch of people here that are in different positions and doing kind of different things. So I'll make this really big and cover my face for you so you can see this here. You see all these different people as they're kind of in different positions, but I want you to note specifically there are some of these actors who seem to be worshiping or bowing down or doing something specifically in that way, which I find quite telling. So you can see here, you see some of these actors like right here, they're kind of like bowing in a way, or they're like prostrate on the ground. This is, I think, for a very specific reason. I think there's something going on here that they're either worshiping to, or they're paying homage to, or they're giving respect to, right? Obviously, this is going to be the Jewish people, I think, probably looking toward a symbol of Yahweh at the very least, if not some sort of worship moment with their Israelites here. So you see all of them as they're in different positions here. It is a very funny scene. As a background actor, this would be like a funny thing to have to go through, to be prostrate on the ground in the middle of the wilderness. But anyway, that's what we get there. It's quite interesting. So more context coming for sure. This stand-in, I think, is 99% in my mind a stand-in for Moses. Now, Moses is a very interesting character to bring back into the show. Why? Well, for one, they're going to do a Moses show at some point, right? So my initial thought was, oh, hey, they're definitely going to bring back, they're going to bring in maybe the actor that's going to play Moses for the Moses show. But that doesn't really make any sense because, of course, the Moses show is several years away. And so, of course, we're not going to get that quite yet, right? Now, here is where we get to the really interesting bit, okay? Remember the guy I told you was a stand-in for Moses? That's my theory there. Well, the big question is, who would they have play Moses, right? Because Moses actually has appeared in The Chosen before. If you remember all the way back to season 1, we have seen Moses in episode 7, I believe, of season 1. The very beginning, the cold open was Moses with the bronze serpent. So we've already seen that storyline. I don't think it's going to be that storyline. However, the actor that plays Moses, of course, is, you know, do they change him to someone else? Because the actor that played Moses before, like, does he really fit the Chosen aesthetic anymore? I don't know. He's certainly not going to be the person that they choose to play Moses in the Moses show, right? So do they get someone else to play him, or do they get him to play him? Well, Stelio, who plays Moses in season 1 of The Chosen, he posted these pictures. I'll let you kind of assume where these pictures are. But we see this one. We see this one right here. Big mountainscape in the background. And then this one right here, that's got, like, you know, another big mountainscape here, and it's got a McDonald's on the left side, and it's got, you know, like a fitness or something, like a Vesa Fitness or something over on the right side. Yeah, super weird. I wish that we could, like, you know, I wish we could pinpoint this exact location as if, like, we were super sleuths or something, and pinpoint that exact location, which just happens to be, there's a Vesa Fitness there, Provo, Salt Lake City. Oh, there's Goshen right there. Oh, so he was in Spanish Fork. Got it. Okay, so he was in Spanish Fork, and here's Goshen, the set where The Chosen shoots. There it is, right there. Actually, interesting. He's like 30 minutes away. Okay. We'll just go back to our BTS now. So that to me definitely proves that since he was in the area during those exact same days, my guess is that definitely Stelio it was on set for sure as Moses. And yeah, for sure that is where that's where he was. So that's cool to see. We're gonna get a return of Moses in The Chosen season 6, which is kind of fun. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know what they're gonna do exactly, but my guess is that they are going to connect the Exodus and the Old Testament, specifically Exodus and Moses, to Jesus. And so we could see a lot of different things that Moses did back then to connect it. But particularly, of course, we're going to see how he leads the people and different things like that. We could see, for example, him hitting the rock to get the water out of it. We could see, for example, him leading the people and him doing something very specific in that ties to Jesus. That would be my guess overall as we talk about that there. Now, this one is by far the most important single behind the scenes thing that we got in this week. So let's go through here.
Ladies, are you ready for this?
Always.
Always?
We love a night shoot.
So they're doing night shoots basically for the rest of the week. It is an 8 p.m. start time here on day, I believe, 53, I think is what this day is. And so you see all the normal ladies. You got Mary Magdalene, you got Tamar.
We have like 12 more hours to go.
You've got Martha and, of course, Joanna.
Yeah, I'm already tired.
Then you've got Mother Mary. Now, the keen-eyed of you would see this other character. What?
Well, guess what? I'm proud
What?
of every
There
laugh.
she is.
What am I looking at here? Okay, let's make it bigger for you guys, and we'll kind of go back here so you can kind of see what's happening. Yeah, let's zoom it back here. What is that? What is that? Right? Am I right? It looks like almost like a living statue or something, right? What is that? Huh? What? Answers in the comments, please. Here is just a blatant leak here, okay? So I'll let you guys that want to sleuth out zoom in a little bit, then I will zoom in for you in a moment here. Of course, we've got Mother Mary, we've got Mary here, we've got Mary Magdalene, we've got some other people kind of sitting in this area over here. But the picture seems to be focused on something else. That's interesting. It's almost like that one person we saw earlier. Now there's 3 of them. You can clearly see there's 3 of these things makeup being put on them. And looks like they're being painted with silver of some sort. Their hair is silver, their skin is silver, their clothing is silver. Not only that, but it looks like they have weapons on them as well. This woman seems to have some sort of dagger kind of on her back here, if I can point that out. You can see the dagger here. You can also see, I think, a sword right here on this guy's hip, maybe. And then over here, we've got an archer of some sort, covered in armor as well, that has some arrows right here. Definitely seeing some great guesses in the chat for sure. Let me know your guesses in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts about warriors that are painted silver and looking like that. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it for sure. Let's see here real fast. I'll just put this up real fast, just as like a fun, like, you know, scripture thing. Just as like a fun scripture thing. I'll put this up. I'll just put that up for a second, just say like it's a fun scripture thing or whatever. Very interesting. Very interesting. Sorry, I forgot. I'm going to put this one up real fast for no reason, just so you can read this. I literally like this scripture here. Okay. And then we'll continue on. All right. We got nighttime shot here with a big old light going through some fog.
Oh, there's a UFO right there. Look at that.
You know, there will be your ancestors will be watching. There will be a cloud of witnesses. And she looked up at the sky. We were outside on the set of The Chosen, overlooking the River Jordan, which also is a stand-in for the Sea of Galilee. That's where we shoot all of those sequences. And it just so happened that the last shot of the day was going to be a flashback of Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist.
All right, so I guarantee he was not supposed to say that, and I'm sorry, Harrison, if we get you some attention from the Chosen team, maybe to edit this or take it down, but I doubt they'll do that because we've talked about a lot of leaks on this channel. But obviously, there Elijah says here that the last scene that they filmed during that day was Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist. This is a flashback. So this is a huge, huge thing that we've been waiting for literally for 5 years. We have spoken about this, talked about this on the channel, speculating that it might happen, thinking through how it was going to be done. We thought that originally it was going to be done during season 4 and then season 5, but it never appeared through any of those times. We did, however, get flashbacks of John the Baptist or different moments of John the Baptist, especially in season 4, of course, and then flashbacks again in season 5 of him. But we imagined that those would be connected to Jesus' baptism and somehow, but this season we're actually going to get it. So at the death of Jesus, we actually get his baptism, the beginning of the journey here. So more flashbacks pointing towards the beginning because we're getting to the end where we're coming to the bookends of The Chosen itself, right? And so they're going to be speaking more about the beginning and where things came from so that they can show the end and show Jesus's death and then his resurrection and everything that comes from that. So yeah, insanely cool. I'm really excited for this.
No matter how soft this is, this hurts. That material is incredibly soft, but the harder he went, like, you can feel it and you start to anticipate it more. The last one, like, I could feel it.
There he is. Okay, I did not know this is going to be in here. That's just straight up Quintus.
Start to
right
anticipate it more.
Look, it's just straight up Quintus. Let me zoom out so you can see him. It's just literally straight up Quintus right here, who's doing whipping apparently. That is confirmed. That's definitely confirmed now. 1000% this is Quintus. It's so interesting to me what they've put in some of this BTS here. Yeah, that's 1000% Quintus as Dallas is directing him to whip here. And obviously Akis with him as well. Yeah, super interesting. Man, that's going to be crazy. That is going to be insane. Quintus whipping Jesus. That's crazy. That is for sure Brandon Potter. I've met Brandon Potter. I've talked with him. I just saw him at Chosen Con. That is for sure Brandon Potter. For sure. Hey, real quick, if you really enjoy all of my deep dives and looking into the BTS of these biblical media shows, then I'd love your support over on Patreon. This is by far the best way to help us continue making videos just like this. Anyway, go check that link in the description down below, and it starts just as low as $5 a month. Thank you so much. That's insane.
The last one, like, I could feel it. Like, it didn't hurt, but you just felt the pressure of that kind of energy.
And I believe that's Brandon Potter again over here. I can't fully tell. I don't know who this character is. Seems like he's hugging Dallas in the previous scene. So I don't know who that character is. Trying to wrap my brain around it here.
It makes a person be like, I don't want a fraction of that kind of energy.
Yeah, it looks like it's the same costume, same character who's hugging Dallas here. I don't assume that that's just like a random background person, but yeah, I don't know. Who else would be near the cross during that time? But I do think this is Brandon Potter. Definitely, who's talking to Dallas here. It's not Barnaby. No, I don't think it's Barnaby, is it? Doesn't look like Barnaby to me. Thanks so much for checking out this video. If you want to see more sleuthing just like this, help to support the channel, go check out the links in the description down below and leave a comment. It always helps a ton. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.